We have a green. Yes, we have a green status on the YouTubes this time. And it looks good. Let me check the audio. We have a green. Yes, we have a green status on the YouTubes this time. Good. Let me check the audio. Oh yeah, don't let it echo. Okay. Looks like our internet connection is properly solid. Let me, oops, I didn't even. Okie dokie. Let me grab the link, send them out, and then we can start. Okie dokie. Let me grab the link, send them out, and then we can start. Okie dokie. Excellent. All right, so let's begin. So I had this plan. Let me just draw it first, since there's no one yet here. Normally I would do this on paper because, you know, that's more convenient, but since other people need to see it too. Okay, so this is a skull dungeon. That's not what I want. Let's make this a little bigger. And then you go like this. Oops. And this is the end goal, is this part. Oops, that's... I should get like a drawing tablet or something. No, I don't do enough drawing for that to make sense. And also I realize that this part is not actually there. Terrible paint drawing, but that's okay. We will use it and it will work. Let's move the title over here so it's centered on the center part. Okay. So, if this is Skull Dungeon, the design layout of the dungeons I like is to make sure, first of all, that they're non-linear. So in Skull Dungeon, there's multiple paths we can take, but we have to unlock the central thing. The final boss is at the end of the dungeon, no matter what you do. So in Skull Dungeon, you come this way, you have to light the torches from all 4 angles, and then this is a side path that gives you an optional item, which is another thing I like to make sure is in every dungeon, somewhere at least, some kind of optional item that you can only get if you solve an additional puzzle or overcome a challenge that's harder than the rest of the dungeon. So my plan that we went over on stream a long time ago, like a month or 2 or something, for Kithen Ruins, which is the laser dungeon, the one we're working on right now, was I was realizing was pretty similar to this. And my idea too was technically difficult. I wanted to have the lasers, the little green lasers, oops, go between rooms, and you'd have to route them to power different spots on the dungeon. That's so hard to do, but I really want to do it. But I haven't thought of a way to do it yet, because no, I really need to do it that way because it's just such a good design. I can't let the I was thinking I went into this stream thinking I was going to just simplify it a lot and then come up with a design right now and do it. But it occurs to me that the design for sending lasers between rooms and powering things that activate switches globally in the dungeon, that is really good dungeon design, and I shouldn't let the technical aspects of it dissuade me from doing it. So that leaves me with a conundrum because I need to figure out how to do that, but I won't do that now because that will be like a sit down for a weekend and figure it out kind of thing for me to do on my own. In the meantime, we can do the actual design work for what the dungeon would look like. So I already know we have the entrance, and the purpose of this entrance here. The purpose of this entrance, and I'll put a label for Kithen Ruins. Oops, here, let's make this wider. There we go. So here's our title. Okay, so now the purpose of this entrance, and I'm going to label it, is to teach the laser mechanics. So this section of the dungeon, just very introduction, which we already have done, is specifically just so that the player knows how the laser puzzles work. And I guess we can go take a look at that now so I remember how it works, because I haven't done it for a while. And also there's some stuff weird, but we should get a save spot there anyways, because we'll want to be there when we're actually coding stuff. So let me load up the game, set our settings. Oops, that's loud. I was testing sounds. Continue. Okay, this is fine. I think this should be a good spot. Teleport to Kithen Ruins. Oh, that's not ideal, but yeah, this is a fine. We'll go down. It's just down there to the left. I need a better teleport command because what the heck happened here? This tile set is really not right. There's this hole here. Okay, I'll fix that later. So here's the... No, we don't want to save here. Yeah, I need a better teleport command because right now it just teleports to the nearest... like, it teleports you to the room and then it teleports you to the same... Oh gosh, I forgot about that. Let's just mute this for now. We'll go inside the room and then I'll worry about it. It teleports you to the nearest, like the most recently entered entrance, and if there is no such entrance in that room, then it will just leave you in the same physical like position, which is just wrong in every sense of how that should be coded. But I didn't bother until now because it was fine. Okay, so we're gonna open this door. Just cheat our way through all these. You know what? Oh gosh, go in here and save. So this is our new save spot, and I can put the audio back on. Okay. Actually, these two chests should not be here anymore. They were there for testing. So here's how our lasers work. Just to refresh myself, this one I think is supposed to be here. Yeah. Okay. I like these crystals. I'm proud of those. We have the switches and the inputs. So here's an output. If we hit that with our sword, it turns on the laser. And this is level dependent, so we can walk under this without getting hurt. And that powers this input and opens this door here. And we can denote the way that they're connecting using the floor tile set, so that the players aren't like confused about what things they need to switch. So this one needs 2 inputs, as you can see. And then this one is more complicated, but since you've already been solving puzzles for a while, you should be able to figure it out, even though you don't know the mechanics as well. That doesn't work because where do we go for the laser? This one here, we can show that it splits. So if we hit it one more time, it splits up here. This one can hit that, but we don't really need that. We want it to go down. And then this will go to the left and power this one. And then this one we want to go down, powered, boom. So now they're both powered, it opens up. We don't use this one at all. That's just a diversion. Yeah, that's a nice puzzle. I like that one because there's lots of different ways where you think you might have solved it, where you can power one or the other but not both. And this is the only solution I'm aware of. So this section doesn't have anything in it yet. I'm not sure what we'll use it for, but we will use it for something. And there's no door to lead out. Okay, so that's our introduction just to the laser puzzle. I guess if we want to not get hit, we go around the top or the bottom. Okay, in a speedrun, you just dash right through the laser because it doesn't matter. So now we've saved this. I think that saving... Oh yeah, this. There's a crash when you leave the room, and I think it's a save issue and not something that I actually need to fix. Like it's an issue because I sequence broke stuff, but I should probably double check that. Let's see what happens if I try to load. Doesn't work, does it? Shoot. Well, we need to do that too, but our individual puzzles won't matter for a little bit. Oh, I broke it again. I should not leave the door. I need to figure out what's causing that to pause, because it's the thing is my F12 hotkey for force closing the game is it still works in that frozen state, which probably means it thinks the game is paused, like there's a cutscene that triggered that shouldn't or something, but it can't camera center. So that's something I should probably debug. But so we have this section for teaching the laser mechanics. Maybe we can add one more puzzle in there to like know for sure, and then after that we'll have a save spot because I want to make sure that you can save inside the dungeon and not have to, you know, go in and out. So if I think about there were two things I was thinking. Well, first of all, I definitely want lasers to, like, maybe a different type of laser that is used across the dungeon, right? So that you kind of know, like, oh, this laser's activated right now. So I should probably deactivate it so that I can do this thing that I want to do. Or else, so that you might have to turn on and off certain lasers at different times to get all the way through it. One thing we can do with that is the laser can trigger something that like opens or closes a door that you need to be able to get through or not get through. And that can be alternate. So some of them you need the laser off to go through, and some of them you need the laser on to go through. The other thing I was thinking is if I made it so that it was impossible to cross paths with the laser, so that once you turned it on, you couldn't cross to the other side of the laser without going around it somehow. And that could lead to some really interesting, but also super complicated puzzles to make, because you would have to like turn it on, for example, to activate something, and then go somewhere and activate it, but you have to go back and turn it off in order to cross through. Hey, Casmon. What's up? We're just doing puzzles, but my brain is tied in loops because this is hurting me. My brain, I mean. So you'd have to go back, for example, turn off the laser so that you could cross the path. I don't know how to make a puzzle like that, but I think it would be awesome. The other question is, how do I actually represent that to the player in a way that they can understand it? I don't really have like a map in this game, but I'm wondering if I should add a map just for this, because then you could draw the laser on the map and see like, oh, this is where it is. This is where I can cross or not cross if I added a dungeon map. But Skull Dungeon doesn't have a dungeon map, but I could add map. That would be cool. I like maps. I think of Link to the Past. I like solving puzzles that involve using the map. Or the first Legend of Zelda, you get the map and then it's like, go to the peninsula, and it means like the thing sticking off the side of the dungeon, or like inside the eye there's a treasure, and you look at the map, it looks like a skull, and then in one of the eyes there's a hidden room, kind of thing. Definitely I think having maps would be interesting, but it would be a technically difficult thing, and I'd probably have to hard draw them. Although, to be fair, the overworld map was extra challenging, and I still haven't done that yet, though I will probably do that this update or next, because I needed to draw the terrain too. And a dungeon map I don't need to. I can just show the rooms and the doors, so I don't think it would actually be that hard to add one. It would be hard to make it so you could select rooms, but I guess you don't need to because you're not actually looking at it. It would just show you which room you're in currently, highlighted, and you could, that's it. You just open it and you can see Skull Dungeon laid out like this. And then I guess I could make it so that you get a map going in, like you just start with it, or I could make it so that you find it, which would be a cool new treasure to hide somewhere, like an item that you needed for the map. And then I can use that same system for showing the lasers. Okay, I like this. And for that matter, if I have a system that can display the lasers, I already have to have had made a system that allows the lasers to go through the rooms, which that sounds wrong because that didn't actually come up with a solution to my problem. But I think it gives me a better idea of how to do it. This is the sort of thing where I like to have a nice full system that does the whole thing, but I might just need to hard code some stuff for this purpose because I'm only doing it once anyways. Okay. This sounds cool. I think I like this. How to do it, I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out. So then let's start breaking down some of what we can do. I don't need Skull Dungeon, I don't think, anymore. I'm gonna just, you know what, hold on, I can make, can I zoom out and then make it bigger and then zoom back in? 100. Okay, so now I'm gonna just put Skull Dungeon down here because I don't need it right now. Okay. There's probably some better tools for this kind of visualizing. Like I said, normally I do this on a whiteboard or on paper and then take pictures and put it in my design document, but so if we have lasers, yeah, you can use an ID system. So ID 001 equals true, then all the items object that use that ID for its state will be the same. Yeah, yeah, right. That's the way to do it probably. Especially since I already have a save system that uses IDs like that. I just need to have a way to set the ID relevant. Yes. Oh, thank you. You're right. I just need the ID reference for the save system, and then I just need to set it manually for each of the objects I want to be tied to a particular switch. And then I can say turn on the laser in one room, turns on that switches one ID. And then in other rooms I go there, it's like, oh, this ID, that means the laser's on, I'm also on. And then it doesn't actually matter what the inside room state is. That is all saved separately. It's just the same ID. And then I don't have exactly a global system where I have to like load rooms or recreate the events happening. Instead, it's just when it actually changes, I change the ID and then the save state changes. Okay, thank you. You're right, that's how to do it. Okay. I was close to getting to that point, but I hadn't thought it all the way through, so I appreciate that. Now I'm really excited to do this because I actually have a way to do it. Thank you. So I guess if we have lasers, then the end goal, we can think about that first, and that should be somewhere near the center, and I'm going to make a red circle like I did down here, except I'm going to use a circle tool so it looks nice. This is our end goal. This is the boss. The goal is to get to the boss, beat the boss, get the spell that the boss provides, and the heart piece, and the... No, there isn't that anymore. There was going to be a bright steel in here, but I actually moved it somewhere else because I needed a treasure. Actually, that's the funny thing about this game is like, I'm actually short on things to provide as valuable rewards for like quests other than money and items, which I don't really want to give you that much. So I've been trying to brainstorm new things, and I've thought of a few. And every new one that I add is just like a kind of new, like, it's more memorable than just getting money. I don't like to give money as a reward for anything other than like, oh, look, you found a dead end in a maze, may as well give you some money. So we have this boss. I'd guess what we can do is something similar to what we did in the Skull Dungeon, where there's like, say, 4 switches that all have to be powered to get to the boss. So all the lasers have to be turned on, and you have to have a valid path to the boss. This is why you need a person that knows object-oriented programming language in your chat all the time. Yes, that is very helpful. I'm very close to learning object-oriented coding in my computer science classes, but we haven't got to that stuff yet. But I'm really excited for that, honestly, because it's going to help a lot to finally have like actually been taught how to program and not made it up on the way. So 4 switches, or 3 or something, 2 maybe, large laser beams that have to be routed through, turned on, turned off. Oh. So I can simplify. Okay, so part of the thing too that I forgot that was confusing me was how do I make it so that I can also like reroute those lasers? I'm just not going to bother. I'm just going to turn them on and off and use the fact that they block your walking path as the primary kind of thing. Java and GameMaker are both object-oriented. Yeah, GameMaker is sort of object-oriented, you're right, but I haven't learned the theoretical reasons why it's object-oriented, so I don't always use it correctly. Sometimes I'm like doing something that isn't what object-oriented is designed to be set up like. And I've started learning that recently. I'm like, oh, that makes sense why this code is easier to use than that code, because that's why it was made to work that way. So I think that because my current laser beams, you can walk through them, and they would have to because they're also like damage dealers. You can't. It doesn't work if you could. It's hard to explain why, but the way it's set up right now, that those traps, they need to be able to be passed through. So I think I might need a separate object for the lasers that you like can't pass, like go through, like they're like a force field laser, the big ones that are going through the dungeon. Maybe a different color, or I can just make them thicker green ones, because I do like the green color scheme. Although I also want to set up some laser things that use red so that I can put them somewhere else that might use some lasers, but I'll do that on my own. Okay, let's say we have a room. And this is our laser cannon, a ginormous laser cannon. Okay. And when it's on, I'm going to use red for now. No, we'll use green. Let's get us a nice bright green though. Here's our laser. You know what? That's not. Why did it not fill? Oh, because this needs to be. There we go. There's our nice crazy laser. This can be turned on and off, and there's a switch. No, I don't want. There's a switch over here that does this laser. To have 2 or more types of lasers, you should use a type field. You don't need more than one class for them. Yes, I might do something like that. Definitely, most of it I have the inheritance so that I can. The lasers, for example, are actually a child object of the enemy. That's what allows it to deal damage and have like different states. So it would be similar. The large lasers, because I only need to use them once, would be similar. I don't need to change types. So, but yes, how to actually implement it will be not quite like that, but similar in what you're describing. So we have a switch. I'm just trying to break this concept of turning on and off something that both powers something that you need to be powered and blocks your path. So the other interesting thing about this is going to be, well, because I have save points, that's nice. Save warping in my game does not work very well, because you can save, but then you have a specific location that you're saved at. So that helps us a lot. In Zelda, you'd have to do something very weird to make sure that like you wouldn't be able to soft lock yourself, especially if the dungeon state is saved. You might have to just reset the dungeon when you leave, which I might end up doing for this anyways because of the way it works, but that's besides the point. It's going to be tricky to make sure, especially with abilities like the boomerang, where you can. It'll be tricky to make sure that there's no way to soft lock yourself in a spot where the laser's turned on. For that matter, I already have in the. That's not where it is. Where is it? Outdated rooms, farmland, forest, Kithen Ruins. Here we go. I think you will need to reset some of the room states, but not all of them. Yeah, you're probably right. That will be interesting when I implement it, but I think that's likely what I'll need to do to make sure people can't get soft locked. For example, here I already have these paths that are one-way paths to get through. Because technically you could hit this switch, right? And then put your boomerang there and come over here and then hit it again. And it would turn on the door and then you couldn't get through. Actually, what I might do... I think this might be how Zelda does it. Off the top of my head, some Zelda games do this. What I might do is treat these as puzzles and save the state of the puzzle, whether it's solved or not. And I would do a similar thing to what you mentioned using the ID system. So this puzzle, what I would say in a very simple case is when this one is triggered, this input switch, that means the puzzle is done. And I would actually disable the ability to interact with this switch so that you wouldn't be able to turn it on or off anymore. It would just be stuck. And that way I wouldn't need these inverse things. And I could do the same thing here, which would be more complicated because I'd also have to keep track of the state that these are all facing, which is what I was going to have to do anyways. So then when both of these are switched, this door then gets marked as open, and these ones have the same key, and so their state is now saved, and you can't edit their state anymore. That might be the most thorough way to prevent issues from happening, I think. Just save the puzzle and say this puzzle is now done, and it's now solved, and save the state there, so that now I don't need these like backup paths to prevent that thing. One other thing you can use is a checkpoint system. Yeah, so that's already how the saving works, because it's only at a specific location. That helps a lot, because even if you did get stuck, you could end the game and you would restart outside. You wouldn't be able to save inside a spot like that. And when you go through the checkpoint, then I know what the state of the dungeon is when you enter the checkpoint area. Okay, so I think that will help if I save the state of each puzzle, and I can do a similar thing to what Casmon mentioned with the ID tag, which is different than what I've been doing so far for saving, but totally within the capabilities of my save system, which is something I have not realized till now. So assuming there's no way that you can... Part of my design for the switches is to ensure that I can put them in states where I know they can't be hit, can't be triggered outside of where I expect you to be able to trigger them. I was saying more that once you go through a door, you can just set a flag to keep the door open. Yes, that's true too, and that would work. I think it would be cooler. Well, yeah, that would be simpler. In some cases, you would turn on and off doors, in which case I just wouldn't do that. I think it would be cooler to show the puzzle as solved when you enter through. But it's not necessary, you're right. I could just make it sure that once you go through the door, it stays open after that. Maybe I'll do that for now and do the more complicated system later. But anyways, with what I was saying with the... yeah, I'll figure that out at some point. What I was saying with the switches is... Yeah, you can change the system in later versions. That's definitely true. And since I kind of want to get this version out soon, this might actually even be something like I do after the alpha testing version. At any rate, the switches are actually set up intentionally. The boomerang mechanic has, you can throw it a short distance and hold it in place, which is super powerful. But if I want to be able to hit something only from a particular spot, first of all, I do have gates that open and close, and I should not forget about those. So you have to be standing in a particular place to do it. But also, you could hold the L and R button, or L or R button, to throw the boomerang a long distance. So if I put this switch behind a pit, they can only be hit from a long distance. And the walls around here, oops, are surrounded thick enough that the bow cannot shoot through them. Then I can ensure that you can only hit a switch from a particular direction by requiring you to use the boomerang or the bow, because you can't place the bomb close enough to hit it. That's why I put that system there, was so that I could, by having the long throw boomerang option, let me fix this a little bit here because it bothers me. By having the long throw boomerang option, I ensure me a way to only allow the players to hit the switch from a particular position or direction, which is still not foolproof, because if there's anything behind here, you can still hold the boomerang here, walk all the way around to here, and let it come through and hit it from that side, which is sometimes required and makes for a really cool puzzle, especially in combination with Revelation, which is what lets you track where the boomerang is and switches so that you can actually line things up easily. Which was kind of accidental, but then made me feel not at all bad about what would normally be bad design. It's actually good design now, because you have a tool that allows you to overcome the complication that most of the time is unfair. which is that you can't see where everything is. With Revelation, you can, so it's all cool. So I have this, and that helps. You could have a pass wall to make sure that only one type of weapon can be used. That's true. It feels to me when that's done in games is like it's kind of capricious in the sense that like it's arbitrary that you can only do it with a particular type. Hey Luna, yo. So I prefer finding natural ways like this one to ensure that to make that check that I need, or else incorporating the fact that you can hit it from a different angle as part of the puzzle. It's just very hard. So there's some other things. Since in this dungeon the boomerang is expected and the sword, and that's it. In future dungeons it's going to be more complicated, and I also need to make sure when I add the bombs and the bow that when I come back to the old dungeons like this one and Skull Dungeon, that the that you can't use the bow or the bomb in a way that is not intended to solve the solution. If there's more than one way to do the puzzle, that's fine, but I want to make sure it's still complicated and not just, oh yeah, walk up and do this. So the other thing I have that's nice for the boomerang is I have these little gates that open and close. I think we can go to them. RM Old Kithen Ruins. Let's teleport there. A new challenger approaches, Ivansky. Welcome. I will meet your challenge. Head on. I main Link, by the way. Oops. Maybe Old Kithen Ruins? There we go. So I'm not going to save here, but I wanted to check these puzzle mechanics too. So I have this. This is one of the other things I was thinking about doing with the lasers, because we have these fake switches. So this, when we step off of it, opens again. Yeah, you could also make a lever that you can hit with one type of switch to change its state. Yeah. I definitely, every weapon has some kind of switch that can only be done with that switch. So the boomerang can carry flames, which is unique to the boomerang. Other weapons can't. And the bow can hit things behind walls. It will work kind of like this, except I have a different. It will only be able to go through one block. So that means these double, at least 3 wide walls, which are the standard for dungeons, you can't shoot through. But something like this, I can put a switch behind and shoot, but only with a bow. And then the bomb can be done at close range and left somewhere else to activate later. So this is the... I don't want... There we go. Okay. This is a fake switch. If you hit it, it comes alive and chases you. But it can also hit down switches, like this. So this lets me through. And I'm thinking of using this with that's not intended, is it? With the lasers, where the lasers can also trigger them. Oh, this is, yeah, this is all broken. Just pretend that didn't happen. So that the lasers can be used to hit those, so that you might use a laser from a long distance. Let me wait for this guy to come down. Man, puzzle design is so hard. And here's the thing too, I like looked up a bunch of stuff a while ago, and I should do it again, about like how do you make good game puzzles? And basically I got a bunch of people who were like, yeah, you just do it over and over and over again until it's good. So I can find articles on how to identify if a puzzle is a good puzzle or not, and I can do that fine. But no one actually knows how to like start off the bat and make a good one. You basically just make new puzzles until it works. Yeah, you build the puzzle backwards, which helps. But then when you're done, whether or not it's a good puzzle is kind of... It's hard to... You can build a puzzle that works by building it backwards. That's definitely a really good technique. What the heck just happened? There we go. What? That's... oh gosh. Okay. These AIs need to be smarter too. Come on down. Oh, I hit him. Dude, I'm so dumb. Gotta solve this puzzle, jeez. Come on down, please. It should be... oh, what is going on down up there? I changed their AI and apparently I broke it. Just a lot of player testing, really. That was a coincidence, huh? I'm gonna just hit that guy so that it gets stuck. There we go. Thank you. This will let us solve the puzzle. I feel like if I built a more sensible AI for these could be really cool. Oof. Let's not die, that would be embarrassing. And this is the treasure, and then we just leave. Step 1, make a better AI. Is that what I am seeing? Yes, maybe. Or at least for these things. I definitely need a better AI. Okay, so in our case where we have our nice big laser cannon, the first basic form is we enter on one side, we hit the switch, it turns on the laser, that activates something somewhere else, and then we just leave and go through that thing. That's like what we have in our room already. That's like this puzzle. We just go over here, we hit the laser, it turns on something. Cool. The puzzle was turning on the laser and then leaving, right? The next basic step is we hit the laser, but if we're standing on the wrong side of the laser beam, we can't leave the room. So we have to go to the other side and figure out how to hit the laser from there. And maybe it's easy to hit it from the wrong side. So then you're like, well, I'm stuck. What do I do? So you can't just hit it from there. For example, if we had... Yes, exactly. A puzzle is all about making the player solve a question. So in this very basic form of this puzzle, the question would then be, how do I hit the laser while on the other side of... How do I turn on the laser while on the other side of it? So that would be like if we had this laser thing, right? And here's the switch for the laser. Oops, that was bad. Here's a switch for the laser. And the player like comes over here. They come through this door. There's a door on the bottom. They walk through. They come up here. They hit this switch with the sword. The laser turns on, and then they can't get back out. And they're like, "Oh no, what do I do?" So they turn it back off. They have to come over here, and they have to throw a long-ranged thing like the boomerang to hit the switch from the other side, from down here. You have to stand here and hit it. That's more complicated than just hitting the switch once. You have to be in the right spot when you hit the switch, but it's still not really that hard. That's a small part of the puzzle. You know what? Let me actually record. I want to draw these and keep track of them, so I can use them as reference later. So here's the first form of the puzzle. We have a switch with a laser that powers a laser switch. And the goal in all of these is to hit the blue thing, which turns on the green thing, and then leave from the bottom. So here's our basic form. Here's a more complicated form of that. We have our switch here, and our laser is here. Here's the more complicated form. You have to be standing on this side. It's worth noting that I think the boomerang will be able to go through the laser, because that just makes sense to me. So that can be part of it too. You can turn on and off this laser from this side, which is important. That's a functionality of it. What's the next form of this? Ah, here's one. This one is more complicated. In this case, we have two rooms. We enter from here. We want to get through to this door on the, well, we'll enter on the left, and we want to leave the right. In this case, we have a switch, we have a laser, and the door. There we go. So in this case, we come in, we hit the switch to turn off the light, Ever watch Game Maker's Toolkit? Every episode. Particularly the ones on puzzle design I've watched a few times because it's such a complicated subject. I like those ones a lot. And the Boss Keys series is really cool. I'm excited when he does Hollow Knight for the Metroidvania one, because I've played Hollow Knight. It's one of my favorite games. So in this case, we come in, we hit the switch, and we're like, oh, look, the laser's off. Now we can go forward. But here's the trick. And this is a simplification of it. We then go over here, and we see, oh, well, shoot. This laser has turned on because this one is turned off. That's a simplification. I don't know how I would represent that actually in the puzzle, but that's the point. Is that when you switch this switch, and then you just go through, you can't proceed forward. You have to hit it again on the way out. You have to trap yourself here so that you can proceed this way. And the best part is, this works both ways. So that next time, if you need to come back through this way, you may have to hit the switch from another spot, or else like if there's a wall here, you'd only be able to hit this switch while standing on this side if the switch was not already switched. Because once the laser wall there, you can't go through the laser. Normally you could put the boomerang here, walk over here, let it release. Let it release from this side, and then the laser's on. You can't go back over there to hit it because there's a wall in the way. So that allows me to make it a one-way path. We go this way, and then coming back through, once we say hit a different laser that is in the dungeon, coming back through, we have the problem is there in reverse. How do we hit this one? And maybe there's a way to hit it from this side, like there's a path that leads around, or you come out this way, right? And this laser has blocked some paths, but not others, so we can hit it from this side or something. That's expanding it into full complexities. And I'll have to write this all out on paper because there's no way I can do it with Paint or while live streaming trying to explain my thought process at the same time. But this is a more complicated principle of this. So let's see if we can think of some other iterations. And then when I have these iterations, I can connect them together. So this, in fact, I could probably describe these mathematically, but I don't know how to do that yet. And actually, that's something I should learn how to do because of some certain projects I'm thinking of working on after The Last Librarian in like 3 years from now. I should probably learn how to do this better, but at any rate, this is just brainstorming preliminary stuff for a completely different project. I'm not going to worry about that later, till later. That's a tangent for sure. I have some cool ideas for something very interesting that I can do, but I don't have the skills to do it yet. Okay, next iteration here. Well, part of it is this is something I learned from playing a Metroidvania game. We have something where we can just have the laser going through a room. You go in, you're like, I don't know how to go through here. You leave, you go later, you turn that laser off, and then you can come back through, right? Ooh. Here's a new iteration, but it's complicated. Let me think about it for a second. For that matter, let me grab my whiteboard. It's right here. I'm going to draw, but I'll try to talk through my process of braining. Okay. So there's a room with a laser going through it. This is a bad whiteboard marker. Where's my good one? With a laser going through it, you enter once. Let's say that gives you a key that lets you enter the next room, which is bigger. Okay, yes, I'll draw this in a second. So that gives you a key, but you see you can't pass through there right yet. You need a pin pad for your computer. Yeah, if only for streaming. Most of the time it's fine, but yeah. And then okay, now I know what I'm doing and I can show you. I had to draw it quickly so that I could see it in my brain, but okay, so this is a much more complicated example, but something I will probably actually use in the dungeon. So here's this. We have a door here and a door here, except this door, why can't I make it black? That's okay. This door is locked. Okay. No fail. Okay. So now we get a key. I'll make a key be a right triangle, apparently. This key to get that door, right? That's not technically related to the whole puzzle. We have this laser beam. What the? Oh. This laser beam that goes through. We can't pass this. Yes. Okay, so here's my idea. I don't know how to draw it yet. I'll think about it. So we first come in here because this door's locked. We go in here. We're like, oh, we can't pass this way. There's no way to turn this laser off. There's no switches in this room at all. But we find the key, and that's just hidden somewhere well, right? So that it's part of the puzzle, right? Find the key. Oh, look, there's a key in here. Cool. Then we come out here. We go in here, and we're in this room. Let me make the laser projector, and the no, that's not the projector. That's the switch. Actually, the switch is actually irrelevant in this context. This is just going to go somewhere else. So we come in here. We see this laser. We can't reach. There's some kind of block. I'll make this. That's bad. Line. Rectangle. There's some kind of block that we can't pass through, right? But we can turn off the laser somehow. This could be on the other side of the laser beam or whatever. You can turn off the laser, but we still can't get through that way. So then we have to come back this way, because this laser is now off, right? So we turn off the laser. There's nothing else to do here except turn off the laser. So then we can come back this way. We go through the laser path, and now we come here. The problem is oh, I'm so close. The problem is we need this laser on, but we also have to pass through this room, right? Which right now our only way to go through this room is by turning off the laser and going this way. And maybe we'll find out that later. Maybe this will even go further and we'll get other things over here. And those things, say we find another key perhaps. It probably wouldn't be a key, it'd probably be another laser or something else. Those things then let us come back through, turn on the laser, which we're now stuck from going through, but allows us to break this barrier and turn on the laser from the other side. And that way, now we're backtracking multiple times. We have to find multiple different keys that allow us to finally get the laser on while on the other side of the laser beam. Yes. This is what I want my dungeon to be like. And I don't know how many of these I'm going to incorporate. But by using specific terminals that can be used to turn on and off the laser, not even switches. I could just make it so that you have to like go interact with the terminal, and that would let me know for certain that you can only trigger it by literally being physically in that position, which allows me to eliminate a lot of the errors that could occur from not fully thinking through the implications of how the boomerang or the bow or the bombs work. Okay, yeah, I like this. And then in maybe smaller instances, I can use in an individual level, for example, getting the key in this room can be its own small puzzle that involves lasers at a smaller scale that you can walk through. Okay, let me label this so I don't forget. That's just logic. It's not actually that you would literally destroy the wall, but that's my note for me. Okay. So in a way, this is really just the same thing as this, except broken up over multiple rooms, multiple steps, and you have to do it more than once with the same laser beam. So if you break it down mathematically, it's very simple, but when you've laid it out in a more complicated method, and then, of course, having to juggle the fact that you need all the lasers in the end of the dungeon turned on while you're still at the center of the dungeon. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, I'm pleased with this. What do I do now? This is a, where's the Last Librarian? There we go. Okay, so let's save that. I don't think I'm going to think more on this today. Well, I will probably after the stream if I work tonight, but I might not have time. I have to do some essay writing too. Other than the large laser beams and new AI for the switch, the evil switches, I'm trying to think if there's anything. Oh yeah, I was going to add laser guardians. Those are just copy paste code things. Like I need to just adjust that. Let me just check my list. I was planning to do puzzle design today, but now that I've decided on a more ambitious design, it's going to take way too long, so we're not going to do that right now. That's the entrance to Kithen Ruins, which I do need to do. Oh man, we're so close to finishing this update. I'm super excited. This dungeon that we're designing today, that's the last thing I need to do. And I will get that done in a week or two, hopefully. Then there's like some cutscenes and stuff I need to program, some like lore things, but those will be kind of fun, so that won't be too bad. All right. Let's go take a look at what I did yesterday, or the day before or something. When did I do it? Thursday, actually. Ooh, Desert at Night. I haven't actually seen this so far, because it's kind of new. Save here. Let's do some improvements to the boss fight that I just programmed the other day. Gargarin. This is the, there's no sound effects yet. I need to add sounds. That's interesting. Why did he make that sound twice? That's it. Okay. Probably I queued it twice. This is a recreation of the boss fight that I used in the last not the Last Librarian, the Voyage to the Final Lands. Woo! Gosh, don't get hit. Voyage to the Final Lands, one of my favorite jam games that I worked on with a few people. Killed him. There's no death, but just wiggling around there. Okay. There's a few things though I want to add to this guy. Not just the sound effects. I need more sounds, but so I actually want. I don't use the timer, right? This is the dash attack. This is the do hit player. Breathing fire on player. Wait, why is that there? Because this is the dashing. Greater than or equal to 0. Oh, because the minus... No. Wandering if not primed to dash. Okay, so I remember I used the dash timer. I set it to a negative value. That means it's held in place until it dashes. So it's like a kind of, I can change the sprite too, and I'll do that once I have it, so that you can see that it's about to dash, right? Dashing to hit player, breathing fire on the player. Okay, so we can add a, right, this is the freezing. Yeah, okay. We can add, they're going to switch between being vulnerable and invulnerable, and now open and close its eye. You can only hit it when its eye is open. This was a trait of the original boss fight, and it made it much more complicated because timing it, like you only had a second window sometimes before it closed its eye again, and it would block, it would dodge your attack. I think that will make it a lot harder because right now it's super easy. So timer equals irandom range point sec. About 1 second is the most it will keep its eye open. Which we'll try that. We'll see what happens. So that just resets the timer, and then it'll switch each time. Much simpler code than what I did the first time, because the first time I did this code it was 3 years ago, and I didn't even understand that I could like just switch a variable by doing equals not that variable. Okay, now it blinks. That's a weird bug. I don't know why that happens. Hide. Okay. Also, when you kill one head, the health of the other head is fully reset, which I feel like is necessary, because otherwise each time you kill a head also they get stronger. So yeah, using your sword is a much more valid strategy in this game than it was in Voyage to the Final Lands, because getting to it was a lot more dangerous. Oops, I reset the fight. Didn't mean to do that. Whoa. Yeah, this is definitely a harder fight now, but it still lacks something. Obviously I died, but I want something to make it just a little more intense, a little more risky. Obviously, I think just better sound effects, like an actual death animation for the heads and stuff, that will be a huge difference. But yeah, as you just said, Casmon, it lacks sound. That's one of the best things that I can do, and I'll do that tonight. I'll do my little sound recording dealio. Just wondering if there's anything in the actual abilities. I have the two. It does the dash ahead, it breathes fire. I feel like there's too much of a lull between it. Like you should be attacking while some of those abilities are going on instead of Let me fight it a little longer and see if I can think of anything, or if anyone has any suggestions. Maybe a third attack would be nice, but I don't know if we need that. It seems like keeping it simple would be fine. It has some interesting traits already. Let me, although, set it to daytime so we don't have that interrupting us. Or nighttime, I guess. Save here. Blah! Whoa! And you definitely don't want to be too close to it when it does that dash. It's a high-hitting attack compared to a lot of the game. Okay, also the battle arena is going to make a big difference on how this works, because dodging the fireballs is really hard if you don't have a spot you can hide from them. Okay, if I do that, I'm just going to die. I'm killing the left head first. Honestly, you might be right. It might just need sound. The great and terrible Gargaren. Exactly. Wait, which one's the left head? That one is. Die, die. Got him! Head down. Yeah, that definitely, I'm looking forward to having sounds for that. You know, the explosions. I'm thinking I'm going to replicate the death animations from Secret of Mana, one of my favorite games of all time. Because this whole boss is a reference, you know. This is just like the original Zelda dragon fight. I mean, much more in depth than that one. Oh, dang it, I closed it. But I think it'd be cool to have the death animation also for this one be a reference to a different game that has similar mechanics. Oof. Die. Honestly, this boss fight might be okay as long as once I get sounds. Considering how much damage it's doing to me, it's probably properly challenging. And I feel like I can dodge the attacks, I'm just being too aggressive. Killed him! And now this one actually starts moving faster and like breathing more fire. The cooldown between its attacks are much smaller. This is when the fight gets... Whoa! Okay, okay, I think I'm satisfied with this boss fight, I just need sound effects. So that's cool. We can... Here, let's just... The great and terrible Gargaren. Get out of here. We're going to pass him. Oh, I need to delete all these things. I was testing something. Oh, by the way. Here's a thing that makes me happy. Brace yourself. It's a mimic. It's going to eat me. Sorry. I just liked that thing. They spawn sometimes here. And I might put them in other places too. So here's a bit more of Serra's tomb, which has been improved. Oh, Lord, there's the spider. Oh, gosh. Okay. That one does a lot of damage if you let it hit you. Killed it. That was fun. I liked that. Okay. I'm trying to convince myself that this was a well-designed enemy, but I'm not convinced. Uh-oh. I think I might have upped the spawn rates of these things accidentally. Oh, that one hit me. What did you say? I don't know. What did I say? Ugh, spiders. Oh, yeah. Excuse me? Buddy, are you okay? Oh, okay, that's... That was interesting timing, because most of the time it's fine. I have to get it right before the last. I think you can. Okay. That's interesting. Hello, spider. I can't even hit him. I'll just leave you there, that's fine. I need new sounds for these cactuses too. Uh-oh. How did you get stuck in the wall? Well, there's some terrain bugs, it's okay. I'll just kill them. No one will know. Like, actually, I'm very confused about how that got stuck in the wall. I'll have to investigate. Okay, we need to get the key. Is this the key? Yeah, it is. Oh gosh, I'm gonna die. It's good. This place is properly dangerous. And my plan for Sarah's tomb is I want to be continually updating it with more stuff. It's super easy to add things into this dungeon. So once I add more laser traps, I'm gonna have a version of this where sometimes you'll come in, it'll be like spikes like it is now. Sometimes you'll come in, it'll have just lots of different lasers. So that you kind of have a good chance of seeing different things. When I add new enemies, I can just add them to the list of things that can sometimes spawn in here. Only low-level enemies, though, because this is a medium difficulty dungeon. What's the difficulty? This would be classified as a difficulty 2 dungeon. Whereas Kithen Ruins and Skull Dungeon is difficulty 1. Although Kithen Ruins is going to be puzzle difficult, so not quite sure how I'll handle that, but if people want to do Skull Dungeon first because they think it's easier, then good on them. Do whichever one. So I think that was satisfying. I'm pleased with this. I don't think the bombs work actually right now. I've disabled the code. That should work, so you can blow up the cactuses if you want. Blow up. Oh, the stream quality is dropping a little bit, but certainly better than last time we tried to do it. Let's see what's going on. Blow up off the stream. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Well, we have a design now. Hey, what's up, Kami? I see you there. Good to see you stopping by. Honestly, I'm not quite sure what I should be working on now because my plans have changed, but I make sand spider varieties, bombable walls. We can work on... No, we can't. Let me check my list one more time. There's got to be something simple we can do today. I should have planned a little better. Normally I work on something and then I have sprites all done. I don't like doing sprites on stream, so... Alright, here's one. So the spell we're going to get from this dungeon, this is kind of a spoiler, so, but it's okay. This is what we do on the stream. Full open honesty. There's only a few things I've kept a secret from everybody. It's called Flash Barrier. I don't know if the video is at a high enough quality to bother doing this. Oh, you know what? I won't show where this is. Yeah, that's one thing I'll keep hidden. We need to go somewhere where there's enemies to test this with. Not the best spot. Okay, let's fix that for sure. Let's do that now. This is far, nope. Kindleth. Where is it? Forest Kindleth. Okay, we can do this at least. Delete. Move that over. And then we can also find the cave. Dragon Bog. I think, actually, ooh, let's look at the map for a second. There's something I want to check on that. I think I've done all of the map. It's just the dungeon that's left. In which case, I should check them off so we can check. You can see that for sure. Current projects. I'm pulling up the map on the other screen. I'll drag it over in a second. Here we go. I use the Google Docs because I like it. Okay, North Dragon Bog, South Dragon Bog. These are both done. And then we got we got Sarath Tomb and another section of the desert, which I will not tell where it is, but that's everything. So actually, I'm just going to mark these as lime green now. That's not what I meant. Fill color. Border color. Nope. There we go. Those are marked off now. And these are some of the other areas. So if you look at it, almost like we can see that about half of the overworld map is done at this point. We can take these and stack them here, and that's almost about half. Exactly half, practically. Which is kind of exciting. And then the next update, I'm going to add... Okay, so I'm going to do 2 alpha up. So I'm doing this update now. I'm going to release that for alpha by the end of this month. And the alpha testers will do their testing, and then I'll publish it for everybody to play. And then after that, I'm going to do 2 more alpha updates, I think. I'm going to do one that adds this red stuff, and one that adds this blue things, like Kithen and the Water Palace. Those will just be done for the alpha testers only, but I'll do testing in between because they're such big things. What they are is big. And then after that, I don't know what I'll do. I think I'll probably just release it for more people to play. But if I think I'm actually going to finish the project, I might end the testing so that there's still content left over for when the game is released. But at any rate. So that's actually, I'm really kind of excited now that we're going into things. It's kind of, as the more engine level stuff I finished, like the cutscenes engine is done, like combat, once I get that all done, and I'm mostly done with it, I can just add content. So I can work on the Water Palace, just add the whole Water Palace in one day. But for now, I think I just wanted to check that off, and then that will work. Just double checking that there wasn't any other rooms I needed to make. Did I fix this? Where is... Actually, where is the Misty Forest. Oh, I put it in there. This has a wall missing. There we go. This is all fixed up. That's been broken for ages, actually. I don't know why I didn't fix it sooner. Not north, south Dragonbach. Oop, there we go. This one too, actually, I'm confused about. What's up with this? Ah. That's why. Yeah, fix that a bug too. Guess, you know what, I think that's all I really had to do for today. So we streamed not quite 2 hours like I was planning, but thanks everyone for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed. We did a lot of the kind of nitpicky design planning kind of things at the beginning. A little different than what we normally do. I normally do that off stream, but I didn't have anything else to do. That was the next step in the process. So here, I'll show the picture one last time. Look at all this. Oh, I want to edit it. Edit. There we go. Came up with these laser puzzle mechanics, and I'm really looking forward to implementing those. Hopefully the next update you guys will be able to see a cool cross-dungeon kind of mechanic that isn't just but hey, you streamed. Yep, and it worked today mostly. There were some slow patches, but the internet seems to be relatively stable now. I'll have to call in the help desk and check in, see if I can get my Ethernet cable and plug in directly. That might make it faster. Call me. I'll have to rewatch later on. Yeah, I'll have the VOD uploaded in like half an hour, and you can check the beginning section if you want. I think it was kind of interesting. We did a lot of discussion on actual, like, how the puzzle design kind of works. Needs more tomatoes. Ivansky. Never fret. That's on my list of things to do, just not quite yet. The tomatoes will be added. Remember this map? The tomatoes are going to be in here in the red update. So they'll be there, don't worry. Anyways, thanks for stopping by, everybody. I really, honestly, thank you so much for the suggestions and the help and the idea for how to program a Castmon. That's going to be awesome. I'm super looking forward to doing it. I'm going to work on this more tonight. It's just going to be very technical, so I don't think it'll be quite as much fun to stream. But in the meantime, I need to go write an essay, which is always good. See y'all later. Let me give it a second so the stream can, catch up. Less spiders, please. Luna, I can't have less spiders. I already added them. It was a lot of work. Have a good day. But in the meantime, I need to go write an essay, which is always good.